All right. I think we are live. Let's see. Waiting for the healthy signal here. Yep, we are live. All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the first, well, not the first, but this week's members only video. XRP, yes. So I definitely plan on taking a look at some of the altcoins, maybe a little deeper than I do on the usual public YouTube videos. I try to keep the YouTube videos like between 20-25 minutes, but you start breaking down all of the altcoins, and next thing you know, you've been talking for 45 minutes. So sit back, relax. If you missed, anyone who misses the live stream, these videos you can still watch. The link will still be posted. You can watch it down the road too. Okay, so we're just going to start out. Basically, what's up, yo, Omnipotent? So yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on the chat. And try to do some requests. I'm going to start out doing the usual. We'll just do the usual setup, and I can take some requests along the way, and at the end I'll do more of an altcoin look. Okay, BCH. Yeah, I haven't looked at BCH in a while. Who you calling BCH, bitch? All right. So looking at the chart right now, just got rejected at that 6,800 level. This support box I had drawn back when price was here, and I haven't really adjusted this support box at all. So when I made this box, basically, I was looking at the top of this peak right here as a resistance point, and I don't know, I just kind of arbitrarily had drawn it. Maybe I was using 4-hour candles. I was looking at the 4-hour candle body, so the top of this candle body and the top of that one, and you can see that we've just been chopping sideways in this region, and we've had little breakout attempts that have been rejected each time. You can draw a descending trend line here. It's starting to be a little more obvious. Yesterday, I had this trend line drawn a little more sharper. It looked something like that. And you can see once it did break above it, you had another breakout attempt, but it's the weekend and it was rejected again. So now we can just, we'll extend it using the top of the candle bodies. We have this descending trend line, and you have a flat line support here. So guys, descending triangles tend to break down. That's what they tend to do. But obviously, if we do break above this falling trend line, you could see a breakout. Okay, so if you close above, break out, close below, break down. The problem with the weekend is there's not enough volume to push the price past. So what you end up seeing is just like this choppy range. And yesterday we were in profit twice. We were in not amazing profit, just minimal profit. You could have taken profit twice yesterday. You could have closed out at break even, or you could have taken a small loss. That's just going to be up to you guys and your risk appetite. Personally, looking back on it, I wish I had at least closed at break even, because I have seen on the weekends that it's just this choppy range. Stop hunts, usually not my best trading days are on weekends or holidays. Looking back on just about every weekend and holiday, I wish I had just skipped it. But this new group thing, and I'm gonna have to adjust to this, guys. I have to like kind of stick to some of my rules. Sometimes I feel like maybe I want to post a trade to entertain the crowd or give you guys something to work with. I feel like if I miss a move that maybe I'm not doing my job right. But at the same time, you can't catch every single move. And it's a 24/7 market. You have to go to sleep at some point, So you just have to accept you can't catch every move. And the best thing I can do especially like if I'm going to be away from the computer for a long time, or I'm going to go to sleep, I can post charts and, tell you basically what I'm looking for to happen if, X plus Y equals Z situation like that. Because, a couple days ago, I caught a beautiful short. Where were we? Was it this one or this one? I think you guys just joined the group. I had shorted this and I was riding it all the way down. And then, right in this region here, I told everyone close your shorts and I left the house. So 2 hours later, I come back and the price is up here. So, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn, I just missed that entire, pump. I'm sure someone's thinking, where were you, Rolly? Where were you? But like I said, I took a 2 hour walk and boom. So it's impossible, So yeah, on the weekend, best thing to do is stay out or just be aggressive taking your profits. Okay, guys, let me look at this. Rolly, you got loads of Twitter followers. Remember the small fry that... Yes, guys. So, I definitely, am going to keep everyone in mind. I've been saying limited time free. I'm definitely, this is going to be free for at least this month, guys, for sure. And if and when I start to charge, I will offer discounts for all of the original members. And I will give everyone a heads up. I'm not just going to like pull the rug out of nowhere. This is not like a scheme or anything. I just want to genuinely show you guys, what I'm doing. And that's why these member videos are important, because this is one of the things that I do want to provide more often is doing these live streams, for the members. Because there's only so much I can do for the public YouTube videos. And, I want to be able to answer questions. And I want people to learn. Some of you guys seem like you know what you're doing already. But, there's a lot of people out there that actually need to learn how to trade. So that's what I would like to provide with this service. Exercising is so expensive when you're a trader. What does that mean? It's been hard to exercise with the gyms closed, right? All right, so let's just do the usual, and I'll do some altcoins at the end, and I'll keep my eye on the chat. But I did want to just discuss, what happened yesterday with the shorts. Okay. All right, so let's look at the market. Not that. All right, let's look at that. All right, so Bitcoin up slightly, almost 1%. BNB's up 5.68%. Damn, BNB $14. Where you got, like in 2019, it was up to like $30. There was some like time travelers saying it was going to $100. I almost FOMO'd in around $30, and we're back to 14. I mean... this is crazy. So we are slightly up. The volume has dropped beneath 1 billion. That's, common on the weekend to see this real volume go beneath 1 billion. Crypto fear and greed index still down here, the 12, 14. We haven't gotten out of this region yet. The block halving, 38 days away, getting closer and closer. Going over to some news articles, talking about CBDC. What is this? Central bank digital cash, maybe? I keep seeing CBD, thinking about cannabis. But basically, they're saying that, the desire for digital money is growing with the COVID-19. Cash is dirty. All this paper money, coins, like it's dirty. And, you can basically transfer the virus through that. So, people are arguing that we need to go digital with our money. Some argue we already are. Basically people are using cards, or, no one's really handling cash much anymore. But even when you swipe your cards, you still have to enter the PIN. We want to be able to do something maybe with your cell phone, just QR codes, maybe like Apple Pay. But, that's where Bitcoin comes into the argument. Bitcoin, this is its opportunity. So not only is, the government, the Fed, printing unlimited money, devaluing fiat, while Bitcoin has its steady, 21 million supply, built against inflation. This is what Bitcoin is built for. But now we have this pandemic, where people don't want to use cash money. So it's better to have a digital currency. So, there are things going into Bitcoin's favor, so this, like I said in yesterday's video, this is Bitcoin's time to shine, right? Let's see, what if BTC breaks out? What targets are you looking at the upside? I mean, I would say 7,300. If we can get above 7,300, we could start looking at maybe a more bullish scenario, midterm bullish scenario. Under 7,300, still, looking at more of a bear market territory. And we'll look at that for sure. But yeah, I say if you do get like a pump today, maybe 7,300. So we'll take a look at that. Bitcoin dominance to 90%. What do you guys think? We'll look at Bitcoin dominance right now. So this is somebody saying Bitcoin dominance to 90%. Basically saying that, I didn't read the article too much, but I've seen people talking about this. Let's zoom out on the weekly for the Bitcoin dominance. So this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. And, we could see last year when Bitcoin pumped, it actually outperformed all of the altcoins. So the dominance was rising. And it's slowly been falling off, but, not too drastic, pretty much going sideways. You're looking at the macro. So could we get another leg up on Bitcoin dominance? That would mean two things. Say we pump on Bitcoin dominance. That would mean that we have like maybe another large sell-off and the altcoins get hurt even harder. So then Bitcoin's dominance rises. Say Bitcoin drops 10%, alts drop 20%. You're going to see Bitcoin dominance rise. Or say Bitcoin decides to start pumping and leaves the altcoins behind. You could also see the Bitcoin dominance rise. So, yesterday's video is talking about the stock market because, looking at the stock market, next week is going to be, critical. If you look at the weekly on the S&P 500, throw up the moving averages. Let me get these guys back here. People are still calling for much lower in the stock market. Okay, so we are beneath the 200 EMA, 200 SMA. This is very bearish. It's been a long time since we've been beneath it. Back here, the 2008 crash was pretty much the last time, and wow, what a crash we had. Okay, so we closed beneath it. The next weekly came up, retested it, and looks like we're rejected. So next week, do we continue to fall and test these lows? A lot of people are calling for that, considering the 6.6 million unemployment number, considering a full month, if not more, of shutdown, considering they're talking about a second wave in the fall. Like, how long will we be without jobs is the crazy thing. I was watching a pretty sad video today showing all the people in line for food banks. I mean, this is hurting a lot of people. There's a large majority of people living check to check. Now, the thing is, those people living check to check standing in a line at food banks aren't, the people with money in the stock market either. So we have to keep that in mind too. But, this means that, industries are losing money. The economy is losing money. So yeah, these people at the food bank, they don't have the money in the stock market, but the jobs that those people work at are losing money. So, the movie, like the malls, the movie theaters, whatever, everything's closed. Okay. So do we drop? So does Bitcoin drop with the stock market? So say the stocks drop harder and Bitcoin drops again. Do the altcoins drop even harder, increasing that Bitcoin dominance? Or say Bitcoin decouples, we get over 7,300 and we start marching back up. Do we leave altcoins in the dust? So that's what you're looking at with the Bitcoin dominance. Do we go all the way to 90%? I think the argument is that, in this time of crisis, people, if Bitcoin is going to perform the recession-proof, design that it was made for, people will move their money into Bitcoin as a global currency, protecting themselves from the government fiat system. They aren't moving their money into, let's say, Cardano or like VeChain or I don't know, EOS, just these random popular altcoins, aren't going to save you from, I don't know. I feel like if you think about the narrative of Bitcoin being the savior of sorts, you're moving into Bitcoin, not the altcoins, right? Especially if you're new to Bitcoin. If you're like, okay, you know what? I need to move my money somewhere safer. What's all these cryptos? You're going to go to Bitcoin first. Bitcoin's going to be the first one you automatically go to. And then over time, you might branch out. But with the altcoins underperforming the past 2 years, you're not going to be so quick to just throw your money left and right at any type of crypto. What's up, Des? The way that people did in 2017 or beginning of 2018. They moved into Bitcoin first, and then they were like, oh, what's XRP? Oh, what's Ethereum? Oh, wow, XRP is only like 75 cents. Bitcoin, is 10,000. Maybe XRP goes to 10,000. Like that's what people were thinking when they got in, and they were like, okay, I'll just put my money in 20 different altcoins, and they're gonna 10 to 100x. But people, I don't know if people are thinking like that right now, not off of the performance. So anyways, I digress. Just things to talk about, things to think about. I saw this was, they were talking about the top 3 price predictions. I was hoping for maybe a larger price prediction, but what I'm seeing here is basically what we're going to look at in the chart as well. Look at this. You're looking at an ascending triangle basically on Bitcoin. You can see that, it looks from this chart here, it looks like we kind of broke out a bit, but we haven't had a major breakout. Maybe next week, maybe Monday we get that breakout, but it looks like a pretty clear ascending triangle. If we get rejected, they're talking about a target around 6,400. That would be the bottom of this rising trend line here. Ethereum, bouncing between this range here, still hitting resistance. We've been talking about we're at critical resistance in depth, and XRP looks like maybe a possible ascending triangle as well. If you're rejected, you can look at the bottom of this rising trend line. All right, anything to look at in the chat? Will you take a chip in your hand? Like, what type of chip are you talking about, Riz? Are you talking about the new like COVID-19 to see if you have it or not? I don't know. I've seen that around the internet. I didn't look too deeply into it. Is it possible to go under 6,200 or looking for a bounce? I think if we go to 6,200, it might mean deeper. I think it is possible. So let's look at the chart. All right. I mean, one step at a time, right? But it's definitely possible. So we'll go over to Bitcoin and let's go to the Bitstamp chart. Still under 6,800. Oh, that's Coinbase. All right. How's everybody doing this morning or evening, wherever you are in the world, right? Okay, so looking at the weekly. I mean, this is a pretty strong weekly candle right here. The previous weekly candles, the big topic of discussion was below or above the 200 EMA. That's your green 200 EMA or the pink 200 simple. You can see, that we didn't want to close beneath it. That was pretty ugly. But we also discussed that possibly the reason we closed beneath it and we had this huge drop was the BitMEX liquidation engine. They said that they were attacked here, I think, and they were attacked here. And basically it was just pushing the price down and down and down. They pulled the plug down here at 3,800 and then we spiked right back up. As soon as they closed, it spiked back up. So, this could have just been the pandemic plus the BitMEX liquidation engine. So, maybe the fair price was more so in this region. Okay. So, guys, we're getting a clear close above and it looks very healthy. Now, the only issue is we're under this 100 EMA. This red 100 EMA is at 7,300, right? So you saw how it held support here. So this is a support flip resistance, clear as day. Support flipped resistance. So you guys, we need to close a daily above 7,300. If you close back above 7,300, maybe this was, just a flash crash and Bitcoin recovers and maybe stocks drop. So the stocks look pretty similar on the weekly, drop down, retest, and will they come down? So we'll see if they follow side by side next week. But yeah, until we get above 7,300, this is going to be major resistance. And you're going to have your yellow 21 EMA and blue 10 simple coming down, acting as more pressure, depending where we are next week's candle, this could start to come down and pressure it. So I wouldn't be overly bullish, when we're in a bull market, the idea is to look for longs. You don't want to be shorting in a bull market because you're basically trying to, call tops, you know what I mean? And you're likely to get stopped out. And, in a bear market, you generally want to look for shorts. You don't want to be calling longs because you're basically trying to call bottoms, right? That's just the general rule here. It was a nice trade, though. We caught some of that. Is it anything possible that lean more towards the bearish side as a lack of volume? You're saying your bias. Yeah, I mean, depending on your strategy yesterday, there was 2 times you could have taken profit yesterday, for sure. I'm very good at calling the initial direction. Now, what happens is Bitcoin's so choppy, if you don't take your profits, it can come right back to your entry and even worse, your stop. So I just, I noticed so many times, like, it goes into profit. I would say 90% of my trades go into profit. It's just, what do you do with that trade once it's in profit? And at the end of the day, that's going to be everyone's decision. I can't hold your hand, to tell you when to take profit. So people's, their P&L, their win-loss, it's going to vary between each trader with the exact same trade setup. It's just, so it depends. How heavy do you go in on your position? Are you looking to take little scalps? The thing is, I like to trade on a 4-hour time frame. So sometimes I'm willing to leave my stop open in hopes that we kind of get more of a swing type move. That's my preference, but sometimes it's too choppy. So on the weekend, yeah, should be scalping on the weekend. On the weekday, you're going to get more volume to push those breakouts, and you can hold the trade a little bit longer, trail your stop behind it. All right. What should my stop loss be? What is my target? When moon? Are you referring to a long? Well, I'm not in a long, but if I was in a long, I would consider maybe putting my stop down here. So if you bought in the 6,700 region, I would look at putting my stop around 65.60, 65.70, basically, underneath all of these wicks. That would be, right here. That would be a place to consider putting my stop. But, I'm not totally convinced right now. You're just between the blue 10 simple and the yellow 21 EMA. Until you get a close above or below, I wouldn't look for too much action. And even with that, it could still be a fake out on the weekend. What I like to do on the weekend is, say I have a trade already open on Friday, I may leave that trade open, and if it goes into profit, take my profit, and basically that's the last trade of the day. I don't like to open up new trades on Saturday. I like to kind of let Bitcoin make its move, and then on Sunday see where the CME opens, and then, you know, trade based off of that. And, you know, some people think CME is a meme, and maybe it is, but it works pretty often. So let's look at the CME real quick here. The CME closed at 67.15 right there. So that was about where it was about, I think, in this region right here. So basically same level. So if the CME opens tomorrow at this price range, there won't be a gap. It might be a tiny little gap. But if we pump, you're going to have a CME gap below, and more times than not, we tend to fill those. And if we dump, you're going to have a CME gap above. So instead of guessing what we're going to do on Saturday, just wait for Sunday and see where the gap is. It's been a pretty good strategy. It works. You know, the only gap that hasn't been filled right now is this one here, but we were dumping hard when that happened. So this is what they call a runaway gap. You know, this one here was looking similar to there. But look, I mean, we just filled it. It's just like clockwork. Look at this one here. You know, filled it. I mean, just go back and look at all of them. This one here, filled. This one took a little more time, but filled. They all get filled. This one hasn't been filled, and we're going to have to, you know, have some bullish. We're going to have to get above that 7,300. You're all the way up in the 8,000 region. And then you have one up at 11.8K. Do I have it? Okay, cool. Yeah, I have it still up here. So you have one up here, and you have one here. And then, guys, there's also one way down in this region that everyone forgets about. Let's see. I can zoom in. It's around 3,500, I'm pretty sure. No one wants to talk about this one, right? We all talk about, hey, still a gap at 11.8, guys. But where did it go? Sorry, guys. Where is it? Okay. Down in here. Just want to show you. Where is it? There it is. There it is. 3,500. 3,500. So on the 4 hour, you can't really see it unless you look at the 4 hour. So does it count if it's the 4 hour? I don't know. You know, some people argue the gap doesn't count unless you can see it on the daily. So anyways, that's the usual weekend play. Let's go back to the chart. Guys, like I say, you know, any request, put them in here. I'll try to go along with them, and I'll save the alts for when I'm done with Bitcoin. How long have we been doing? Already 30 minutes. Wow. All right, so let me go quicker on Bitcoin, and then we'll look at the altcoins, all right? Not a lot has changed since yesterday, that's for sure. So the weekly, we are looking at our moving averages, and we talked about that, 7,300. I don't need to look at maybe Bollinger Bands or Ichimoku clouds. Your Stokes are still coming down on the weekly. You know, you're still putting in lower lows on the RSI. You can see lower low, lower low. If we get rejected, you're going to have lower highs. You know, I've been pointing out that in previous, you know, the RSI usually comes at least down to the oversold region. We haven't hit that, so that's still in the cards to come back down in this region. If you look here, your RSI oversold, that was the bottom there. RSI oversold, that was the bottom here. So, you know, is this the bottom here, or do we get another dump down? That's what we're looking at. If you go to the daily, you're above the yellow 21 EMA, so we're sitting on top of support. So I'm not going to take another short directly into support again. You know, I'm going to have to be patient and wait for that to actually break, you know. So you're sitting above clear support here. You're in this range here, guys, between the yellow 21 EMA and the 50 orange EMA. So between, 66.15 and the 50 EMAs come down to 72.55 now. So this is your range right here as long as support holds. All right, that's all you really need to know on the daily time frame. Now you close the daily back beneath it, especially this blue 10 simple, you know, you might start losing. We have an ascending triangle that we were discussing, right? So this is what you want to look at. Let's hide the volume real quick, and You know, we could draw something maybe like that. Well, if you draw it like that, we're right on the edge of it. You know, like I keep repeating, these are subjective. You can draw them however you like to draw them. So if you draw it more like that, you know, you could come down. But this is rising pretty fast. When we were here and you dropped, you know, you're looking at 6,400. But the more we go sideways, the more we're coming to this level. Now you're talking about 6,550. So we're coming to a critical point here, guys. You know, we're going to have to make a decision pretty soon. This is a 4-hour time frame too. So we're getting to that point. Do we break this down or do we break this up? When do you like to use fibs? So let's use a fib right now. I like to use fibs occasionally. Bigger moves, like this is a large enough move that we can use the fib on. You know, I don't like it to use it, you know, I don't use the fib too often, like say between this swing high and this swing low. But, you know, when you're looking at like bottoms and tops, I think those are good areas to look at it. So from this swing low to this swing high, you are looking at 0.236 support at 64.50. And this is a retracement. So this is, say we break. So if we break this ascending trend line here, it's a good time to pull out the fibs. The fibs won't really matter if we hold this trend line. But if we do break this trend line, you know, and you start coming back down to test the bottom side of this range, you know, the fibs are definitely key, because now you can see, you know, 59.57 is the 0.382, 0.5, 55.56. The golden retrace is at 51.56. So if you break, these are going to be the levels to look at going down. But on the other end of things, let's go to the daily. You could we could draw one from here. So the top to the bottom, okay? So if we're looking at that from this top to this bottom, we are getting rejected at the 0.5 retracement. Yeah, it could be totally a sideways consolidation and breakout bullish. I mean, yet to be seen. At this point, it's a waiting game. Which way do we break, right? So we did hit the 0.5 fib. Now, if we're able to break that 6,300, your 0.618 is at 79.70, which lines up with this little area of trading. And I've seen people talking about 7,800. You know, they're using this little price range right here as a target potentially. You know, and zooming out, this is where we were talking about the 7,300. So this was a trading range. You had support underneath it, and now it's acting as resistance. However, if we get back up here, you know, this was what, January? We started here. This is January. You're looking at a break even. If you say you bought January 1st, if we can get back above here, you're looking at break even on Bitcoin while stocks are way down. A lot of other, you know, markets are down. So being at break even is not bad. That's why we might decouple. I don't know. I mean, but this is a lot better than some of the other traditional charts, right? So that's kind of where the argument is starting to build. Otherwise, getting rejected at the 0.5, you know, is a likely place to get rejected, and then the 0.618, you know, as far as this relief rally getting rejected. Okay. Anything else? So when do you use fibs? Yeah, I think you can draw your fib from here to there, and you can, if we break down, draw your fib from here to there, like I had just shown you guys. All right. The daily, we looked at the 12-hour. Oh, I didn't look at the daily Stoke. Daily Stoke crossing back up. Daily Stoke is crossing back up. So will we continue up? 67.74. You guys, yeah, I don't see any major breakout happening. But then, you know, the thing is, you will usually get, you know, one like large move, and it's usually a wick. So the 4-hour, I'm looking at this on the 4-hour, this RSI. You're looking at this trend line here. It looks like it almost got broken, but it's still holding. I say it's holding. So we're in this rising channel on the 4 hour. If we lose this RSI on the 4 hour and it comes like down here, that could be a signal that we're going to break down. So I would watch this 4 hour rising trend line for sure. And your 4 hour Stokes are still coming down. So the other thing I would look for, that I like to look for at least on the Stokes, is when the 4 hour Stoke crosses up, you know, it's hard to tell which one it's going to be, because you could have tried there and failed, could have tried there, failed. This one was the one to go for, and this one as well. This one as well. Most often, these 4 hour Stoke crosses are usually good, depending on the trend too, though. So if you're bullish, you want to look for crosses up are going to have more weight than crosses down. When you're bearish, the crosses down are going to have more weight than the crosses up. Considering we're kind of going sideways, it's hard to tell which one holds more weight. But if you see this 4 hour start to cross up, can be a good sign. So say we get a 4 hour close above this trend line here, you know, back above 6,800, you're breaking this downtrend, you're getting a cross up on the 4 hour Stoke, you're getting a bounce on the RSI off of this trend line. That's a lot of confluence adding up, and that would be a good place to take a long, and I would place my stop loss underneath this trading range here. That's just what I would do, but I'm not in a rush because I want to see how the CME plays out. Looking at our moving averages, on the 4 hour. So this was also critical. So like I said earlier, we're just bouncing between the blue 10 simple and the yellow 21 EMA. I want us to be trading back above the 200 simple and the 200 EMA. Looked like we tried and they faked us out, but if we can get back above it and maintain it as support, that's a good first step in a bullish narrative. You got to get above the 400. It's been a while. So the last time we were above it, we were up here. Everything was looking bullish. Yeah, we had a little bit of a correction. Sorry, I was trying to figure out a way to make this look a little better. How about I can just get rid of all of these ones. We'll keep that one. So yeah, this was our rally. This was January through February, and then yeah, till the end of February. We were above the 4 hour 200 simple here, guys, and you know, everything was good. This whole way up I was saying be careful, correction could happen. I wasn't expecting a mass sell-off. I was expecting something more like this. And I think we would have stayed bullish. I personally think we would have stayed bullish. Someone's asking me, do I think the BTC, BCH halving will cause FOMO and make the price shoot up? Maybe after the halving. Yeah, like Alex is saying, price usually goes down before the halving. So with Litecoin, last year, there was a run-up. Litecoin was the leading indicator last year. And Litecoin was, leading the entire market. We're talking about, let me zoom out to the daily. We were talking about, so here, Litecoin was the leading indicator here for its halving, but about a month before its halving, it started dumping. And we've seen that in the past with Bitcoin. I have some, so I can go out. I already have these marked off here on Bitstamp. So if you look here, this was the previous halving. So this is a weekly chart. If you look at that real quick, come on. All right, there we go. So we can see, let's see, I would say right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before the first halving, you had a sell-off. 5 weeks before, and we're about 5 weeks out. Right now, we're 5 weeks from the halving. So 5 weeks before you had a sell-off, and then this is the first halving, price just immediately went up, okay? Let's look at this one here. This is the second halving. Second halving, the dump started 1, 2, 3 weeks before. So about So about a month before the halving, you see a sell-off. And on the second halving, this sell-off actually continued after. So about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks after, before it started a slow grind back up. Let's look at the percentage on it too while we're here. So from here to there, you had a 37% drop. So about a month before to a month after the second halving, you had a 38% drop before that rise. So yes, typically the price drops before the halving, and then after it rises. And in this scenario, it took about a month before that actually started happening. So that's why it was just like everyone was talking about the halving, 3-4 months ago. Basically, we were up here, and I was like, let's slow down, because we've seen what has happened before. So we're at that point right now. We already had a huge sell-off, so things could be different this halving. We got this pandemic, so things could be different. But if you, ignore this sell-off and you're just looking at the previous, we could see that drop leading into the halving. And then after the halving, do we bounce and rise, or do we continue to fall and then rise? That's the scenario we're looking at. Okay. WTB 900. What does WTB stand for? A $923 Bitcoin. Where would you see that at? $1,000 Bitcoin? People are saying that we could test the top of this high. That's 11,045 if we came back and because I think where they get that from is this one here, maybe. You can see you had that high there. And it went, so we broke out and then it retested it. The same thing, breakout, retest, resistance, now support. So this was the resistance, that was resistance. Does it flip as support? That's, that's where you're getting that $1,000 want to buy. Oh, you want to buy at 1,000. I'd like to buy at 1,000 too. Why not? Okay, so back to my 4-hour, and then we'll go to the altcoins, okay? So to finish up my point, we are beneath the 200 simple here. It's coming in at 68.15 on the 4-hour, and your 200 EMA is at 69.14. So going back, like I was saying, before the pandemic, I was looking at, a correction, and then I was looking for a potential bounce at least, and then we had this massive sell-off. So we've been beneath it ever since here. To get back above is a good start. Okay, that's a good start. You can see once we were able to get back above here, that's when we really started that rally. Okay, this is clear right here. You got back above it officially. You had a fake out there as well. So you had a fake out here, and then on the third time, you finally got your rally. So that's what we're kind of looking for. Go back, look at it over here. Once you were able to really find support above it here, that's where this rally started taking off. So there was a lot of people very bearish still here, and in hindsight, we were just using that as support. That should have been kind of a hint. The fact they were just riding, maintaining support above it, and then we stayed above it all the way through till the top, basically. Okay, so I think that's all that I need to share. The 4-hour is still coming down. We looked at all that. All right. So XRP, BCH, Link, Tezos. Let's take a look. 45 minutes. Woo! See, this is why I saved this for the group and the live stream. All right. So we can go to Bitcoin 6,800. I need some water. All right, BCH. Let's look at BCH. BCH is still underneath its 4-hour 200 simple, looking very similar to Bitcoin. Look at this wedge. Nice breakout. Sometimes I just leave these trend lines and I don't look at the coin for like a month or two. So it's interesting to look back at it. You had this support line here. And once it was broken, you dropped, it came up, kind of retested this 200 simple on the 4-hour, and damn, it dropped. All right, so you want to get back above there as well on Bitcoin Cash. Let me throw back my moving averages. In case y'all are interested, actually, let me show you the values on those. The values are going to be these are my EMAs, 21, 50, 100, 200, 377. Your simple 10, 50, 100, 200. I often leave the 50 and 100 unchecked, but I do have those there in case I'm looking at, a death or golden cross using the simple moving averages. All right, so we're underneath that BCH. Like I say, man, these charts are all very, very similar, especially the past month. 4-hour Stokes coming down. You're going over to the 12-hour. 12-hour is still rising. 12-hour is above the 50 EMA, looking like a potential bull flag. So that's decent to see. But let me look at the daily. Okay, so BCH is above its 21 EMA. And it's also putting in a potential bull flag above support on the 12-hour. If we break out, you're looking at targets around 261.90 on the 12-hour. On the daily, whereas it's 261.78. So basically, same thing. If we can break this resistance level, BCH, you're looking at, what did I say, 261. I'd say 261 is a fair target on BCH. Your daily is also crossing back up. I'm going to wait till we get confirmation just because of, the nature of what's going on. See, this is the thing. If we were in this, uptrend here, I would take a trade like this. I would be a little more, I would take that risk on a long, more so in a bullish environment. If it was a bullish environment, bull market, that type of thing, this would look like a great opportunity for a long, and it may be a great opportunity for a long, but it's just, it's hard to be bullish when the world is falling apart, right? But the Bitcoin Cash halving, interesting though, the Bitcoin Cash halving is in 4 days, April 8th, I believe. So you're still rising. You haven't had a sell-off there, but it looks like Bitcoin Cash is just following the rest of the market. I don't see Bitcoin Cash, it didn't have a run-up without the rest of the crypto market, kind of like how Litecoin did. So it wasn't like, leading the entire crypto market. So, there's not too much hype even around the Bitcoin Cash halving. So it's just following the rest of the market. But, not looking bad. Your daily Stokes crossed up. You're above the yellow 21 EMA on the daily. Looks like a potential bull flag. You're consolidating above this price action. I would just be careful and watch Bitcoin. Just watch Bitcoin, Okay, so I hope that's enough on Bitcoin Cash. XRP, similar situation. Daily is above the 21 EMA. Let's look at the Stoke. Stoke is crossing up. The only thing about this, but you could say the same thing about Ethereum, I'm pretty sure. You're looking at a potential rising wedge. You're just holding along this support line here. If that support line breaks, you say you break down there, this is a pretty long trend line on XRP. So you lose that, I think you would test back down to 16 cents. This is a horizontal that we have here where you had this range. And if I go out to the daily, I didn't just arbitrarily, draw these trend lines. Basically, we were looking at the weekly. I had drawn, I guess I looked a little closer there, but we had started drawing these horizontals using this price action here. So you can see how you had a range in here. You had support along the way, resistance, rejected, finding support. If the market dumps And Bitcoin dumps and XRP dumps, your resistance level was here, could be support down at 6 cents. I don't think anyone who's holding XRP would like to see that happen. Doesn't have to happen, but just to be aware of. And so say we do lose this rising trend line, you're looking at 16 cents about, and then 14.5 cents as well. Using that horizontal and using my drawing tool, and it looks like you're just on the edge, just on the edge. So do we fall off or do we break this? You have a horizontal right there. So if you can close a 4 hour above here, maybe you get even a breakout and a retest, and you bounce off of it. So it would look something like this. And, this is just an ideal scenario. Sometimes the market doesn't really give you a chance. So, but say you break out and then you come back. What you want to see is that you bounce off of that as a resistance flip support. So 2 ways to trade this. You get your 4 hour close back above this horizontal, ideally above this one. So this candle close is closed at 18.2, so 18 cents. I don't know how to read this, 0.182. So if you get a 4 hour back above that, you could take a quick trade and hope it blasts off. But know that we had a wick here and sold down, a wick here, sold down, sold down. So breakout trading can be risky, okay, because there's lots of fake outs. That's why a breakout trader, might not see so much success. The safest thing to do is to, if you're a breakout trader, and you want to be safe, you wait for it to break out and then retest the support. And if it finds support, that's when you would buy it, okay? Or the other thing to do is sell resistance, buy support. So you have, I would say there's 2 categories. Maybe there's even more. But general terms, you can be a sell resistance, buy support kind of guy. Or you can be a breakout trader. I think you have more success with selling resistance and buying support. But I myself even, I take breakout trades. I mean, the long that we had pretty nice profit on, that was a breakout trade. But you saw how it got rejected immediately, and we took the profits immediately. So that's the risk. If you're going to be a breakout trader, just have your stop, ready to move it. So basically, if it breaks out and it moves into profit, you want to move your stop to your entry or into profit, because fake outs, it can dump right back down, okay? So I think that's pretty standard here, horizontal resistance and support there on XRP. All right, so what else are we talking about in the chat? Mate, the world is falling apart. Yeah, people need money. Yeah, so, I mean, it's bearish. It's hard to get bullish right now. It's just hard to get bullish even when things are showing you. Like the other thing is we're coming from a dump. So this is an ascending triangle, possibly, but we're coming from a dump. So is this a reversal pattern? Maybe, but if we were coming from a pump here, say we pumped up to this price, and then we formed an ascending triangle, I would be bullish. I would definitely be bullish here, okay? But, right now we're trying to call a reversal signal, not just a continuation. So if this was continuation ascending triangle pattern, bullish. But it's a little more trickier since it's a reversal call, if that makes sense, okay? So we looked at Bitcoin Cash, we looked at XRP. I'm going to look at Tezos, Ethereum, and Link. Okay. Do you think BTC be at 36 next month this time? I mean, I'm just going to go one level at a time. I can't call things like that. I mean, if I wanted to stir up some views, maybe I could sit here and make that argument. I could argue anything I want to, and that's the thing about crypto. is people lock into a bias, and I'm guilty of it myself. They lock into a bearish bias, and they only look at the chart with bearish eyes, and they will show you everything bearish about that chart, neglecting everything bullish. So I could sit here and probably make a very good argument for 3,600, and if I wanted to just stick with that, all I would have to do is pretty simple, is, hey, we're underneath this region here. We're getting rejected, especially if we break this. If we break this down and you start testing lower, so the next level will be 5K, and then you're going to start 5,800, 5,900, then 5K, and then you're open to retesting your lows. One level at a time though. So like if you want to be bearish, you just start talking about the global economy, talk about, the fact that, look at the weekly chart, we're under the 21 EMA on the weekly. It's a bearish trend. This is just a relief rally. You're still putting in lower highs. There could be a very large argument that we return back down here, but at the moment we're still holding support above 6,600. So I can't, start screaming 3,600 until 6,600 breaks, and then 6,000 breaks. That's why, I don't know, I'm an intraday trader. I trade level by level. You can talk about 3,600, and there's a guy on the internet who's still talking about 20K this year. We could do this, we could do that, but what's the point of talking about 20K if I can't get above 7,000? That's just my personal outlook, and it's hard to be a swing trader, because of how just choppy this is, and if you're waiting for these these macro levels, you can just usually see the price come against you. We were here and people were calling for down here. They were like, oh, I'm waiting for 5K. I said, all right, you can wait for 5K. And what did we do? We just so say you shorted here, amazing short, and you were determined we were going to 5K. You just watched all of your profit go away if you never took profit here, okay? Now you dump down here and you're like, guys, we're going much lower. You're losing all of that profit again. That's why it's better to take profits in this type of market. And I wish we were looking at something like this, and you could just trail all the way up, but we're really in a sideways. So I'm still on my the arrow. All right, we're still in this macro sideways chopping range. If you zoom out, it's just sideways chop. This is the Coinbase. Let's look at the Bitstamp. It's easier to see Bitstamp. So this is a sideways consolidation on a 10-year trend. This is what it looks like. I would like to see us find, a higher low here. We wicked beneath it. I haven't looked at this in a second. So at least we closed back above. You have a touch. We did wick beneath it, but we closed back above it. So, you're technically, using candle bodies, still higher lows. So are we in a symmetrical triangle consolidation and we break bullish out of here? Or is this going to turn into more of a descending triangle, where we end up bouncing here and bouncing down here, and then all of the doomsday people are going to say, if you lose this, you're going to dump. Is this a macro descending triangle? And then we just come down this way. I don't know. The way Bitcoin was designed, it shouldn't happen. That's how, this is why we're all in Bitcoin, is it not? I think if we start losing this level, a lot of people will jump ship, I think. Okay? Fake pump, I'm calling BS. Are you talking about this rally? It could be a relief rally. I'm not trying to jump into any long-term long right here. I'm definitely very skeptical myself. Okay. So let's just look at those altcoins real quick and wrap it up. It's already been an hour. I was anticipating this to go on for a while. Okay, so I hope this has been useful for everyone. Altcoins. Let's go to the altcoins. There's a lot to look at in crypto, That's why it's hard to make a 20-minute video and cover everything. So we'll just do these real quick. Link. You're looking at these major horizontals. You're still under this horizontal here. I want to see a daily close above this horizontal, which is coming in at, glad to see you're still here, Alex. Good. I'm glad this has been useful. So this horizontal here is at $2.33. I want to see a daily close above that. This is also going to be where the 21 EMA is on Link. Or no, the 21 EMA is even higher. So on Link, you got this channel right in here. Your 21 EMA is at $2.40. Close above that, and you will probably get a test up to the pink 200 simple at $2.60. Until then, you're still sitting under resistance. So there's no good trade to take. I mean, it's risky. If you bought here, you kind of just hoping and praying, and I know we all do that sometimes, but until you break that horizontal resistance and this 21 EMA, it's not the best trade for me. It looks like sideways consolidation, potential bear flag is what it looks like. I mean, you get back above here, it's not looking like a bear flag anymore, but until that, you're still flagging out, and then you're looking at potential targets. Do we want to draw one? We can draw one. Let's draw it. We'll just do it from there to there. Drag that here, and I can't even see where we went with it. That doesn't even make sense. Hold on. Let me zoom out. So I don't know, something with the log scale, sometimes it makes it tricky, I think. My point is, and I can't even, I'm trying to, your point is, it's much lower. I would say, I just want to do an equal value one. See, the thing is, it gets larger as you move, because this, this price range, oh, I didn't do it all the way, sorry. So this price range here, when you go down, it's like $100 to $200 is 100% gain. That's going to look different when you're at 10,000 to 20,000. So it can be tricky. So just for the purpose of what I'm trying to achieve here, I just want a similar from here to here. So I'll just draw something like this. Okay. You're talking about much lower is basically my point. Much lower, guys. Much lower if this is a bear flag. All right. Good show, man. Must go. You're welcome, Des. Yeah, I'm almost done here. I'm going to look at Ethereum and then Tezos. Not much longer. And, the video's here if you want to come back and look at it. Thanks for watching. Wrapping it up for sure. Not much has changed really, but this was a good opportunity to talk to everybody. So you're still under resistance. Tezos again looks like a bear flag, symmetrical triangle. You're under resistance here as well. You need to close back above the 21 EMA until you want to. If you do that, you can target up here. So 21 EMA on Tezos is $1.74, $1.75, let's call it, and your target would be $1.95. This is how I trade. I don't look at altcoins as much because I mean, there's a lot going on with Bitcoin, so it's like how many places can I be at once? Some people can manage lots of trades at the same time. I like to focus on Bitcoin. Also, your risk is increasing the more trades you have open, and they all move the same time. Like if Bitcoin goes up, they all go up. If Bitcoin drops, they all drop. So like if you have 5 altcoin trades open and they all dump, it was like having, 5x position size on a Bitcoin trade. So say you usually, I'm just using random numbers. Say you usually risk $100 on a Bitcoin trade, and you've now have 5. So you got Bitcoin trade open risking $100, and then you've opened up 5 altcoin trades risking $100 on each of them. They all dump. Now you just lost $600 basically on one trade. So your intention is to lose $100 on one trade, but because they all move the same, you just lost $600. So it's like I don't want to spread myself too thin, and kind of my rule with the altcoins is, I risk a lot less than I normally would with like one trade. So if I have like 4 altcoin trades, I want my risk to be small on each one of those. So for me, it's better just to focus on just a few amounts, okay? Otherwise, you're just opening yourself up for way too much risk, because they all move the same. Like if they moved in different patterns, like certain stocks, gold, oil, Bitcoin, you can kind of be hedging. So like, yeah, one trade does well and the other loses, but you had a tight stop on the loser and you had a big win on the winner. It makes sense to like, diversify. But when you're not diversifying by being in multiple altcoins. That's not diversification if they all move together. So it's like basically you just pick 1 or 2 and you pretty much have the same trade on any other altcoin. If they moved differently, then yeah, you could diversify so that your losers are small losers and your winners are big winners. So at that point, it just depends. Do you like trading on margin? Stick to Bitcoin. If you don't use margin, you can use some altcoins. If you're hodling for, the future, that's a whole nother story. People, may be using this opportunity to accumulate, dollar cost average. If that's your game plan, then, a lot of this is unnecessary to be looking at, 5, 6, 7 times a day looking at an hourly chart. If you dollar cost averaging, then just dollar cost average. It doesn't really matter what the price is, but anyways, let's finish this up. Ethereum trying to close above the yellow 21 EMA. You weren't able to on this candle. You weren't able to yesterday. It's trying to now. Your yellow 21 EMA is at 143.24. Price is 143.23. Do we close above or below? If we do, I don't know if we get that pump yet. We might have to wait till Sunday night or Monday to get that price action. But if you do close above it, you could use the 50 EMA as your target at 164. All right, guys. I think that's everything. This also looks like a bear flag, symmetric, rising wedge. Does it not? It does to me. So you're at the resistance. Here's your support. And that's going to be that. Okay. All right, man. Thanks everybody who's joined the group. And I look forward to more more talks in the VIP chat. And we'll do more of these videos on a regular basis. And yeah, thanks again, just for supporting the channel. Definitely follow me on Twitter. I'm sure most of you guys are, so no point. Anyways, enjoy your Saturday, and I'll see you next time.